Stranger Things is currently basking in the success of its 4th season, which came in 2 parts, the second of which consists of 2 feature-length episodes. But why has the show been such an unparalleled success? Some have pointed out to the great writing, whilst others believe it's more to do with the chemistry of the cast. Today we are discussing why Stranger Things is so perfect, so stay right where you are. Let's jump straight in then. We're talking about that 80s nostalgia. One of the first things fans picked up on during the first season of Stranger Things was the obvious 80s setting. Everything from the haircuts to the BMX-style bikes and fashion is absolutely spot on. We are also treated to plenty of pop culture from the time, with the cast regularly dropping Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, and Terminator references. There are also some pretty great subtle references, which only those who grew up in the 80s will have noticed. We see Steve using popular 80s actress and classic Bouffon owner Farrah Fawcett's hairspray, whilst Winona Ryder herself was actually a massive deal throughout the decade. Did you guys notice any other 80s references? Next up, we're discussing its bingeability. There's nothing better than finding a new show to watch and figuring out that it's gonna be your new Sunday binge for the next month. And given how the Netflix model of dropping all the episodes at the same time has given rise to binge watching, there are few shows better than Stranger Things in this regard. The show is super easy to watch as it doesn't particularly feature elongated episodes, apart from the 4th season. And this is in particular not only makes it easy to watch, but also prompts more engagement from fans as shorter episodes mean better, more engaging storytelling. What is your favorite binge at the moment? More on the storytelling now. Stick around. Stranger Things features storytelling across a plethora of different genres, which has attracted all different types of TV fan. Not only is it a coming-of-age tale, but it has aspects of adventure, as well as conspiracy, and also horror intertwined within its metaphorical pages. The writers have blended this all together expertly, but it doesn't rely on one aspect too heavily, which means the multi-genre approach has something for everyone. What is your favorite aspect of genre the show features? Let us know below. Cliffhangers are up next. There's nothing worse than a show that doesn't build suspense, and Stranger Things cannot be accused of this one bit. Most, if not all, episodes end on some sort of cliffhanger, some bigger than others, admittedly. However, the Duffer Brothers are sure to create an atmosphere in each episode, which means you just keep coming back for more. Storylines like Nancy meeting the Demogorgon for the first time, as well as Mike figuring out that Will is the spy, mean that Stranger Things is one of the best shows out there at creating suspense episode to episode. What is your favorite cliffhanger storyline so far? Give us your thoughts below. Next up, it's the character development. Stay tuned. Some shows just plod along, relying on previous seasons or the talented actors they employ, never really bothering to develop their characters whatsoever. However, Stranger Things cannot be accused of this, as they have a slew of top-notch characters who have come a long way since the first season dropped. Possibly the best example of this is Steve, who started off as a bit of a, how do we say this politely, tool. The high school jock was nothing short of a bully, but over the course of the show, he develops into a sort of father figure for our younger heroes, which fans noticed, quickly forgiving him for his early transgressions. And Nancy has also developed into a strong young woman. After her initial introduction as just another schoolgirl, obsessed with fitting in and impressing her friends, she developed into one of the main characters, a character who takes charge and doesn't take any nonsense from anyone. There are plenty of other examples of great character development, and most, if not all characters, show examples similar to Steve and Nancy. Who's your favorite character on the show? Let us know below. Next, we're discussing the emotion. Stay with us. Watch one episode of Stranger Things, and you're sure to be emotionally invested for the whole of the show's run. It is no secret that the hit Netflix show is one of the most emotionally draining shows there is. The Duffer Brothers are not scared to kill off a character, whether that be Barb, or Bob, Newbie, or Alexei, no matter how emotionally attached the audience is to them. Some fans are so emotionally invested that they have actually called for justice on social media, suggesting that the fanbase might be a little too invested. Also, during the Season 1 and Season 3 finales, when Eleven and Hopper respectively sacrificed themselves for the greater good, fans went down an emotional black hole and didn't really come out of it until the next season dropped, when Elle returned to Hawkins. The relief was there, on social media accounts the world over to see. It is these reactions that prove that Stranger Things fans are some of the most invested, loyal, and emotional in the game. What do you guys think was the most emotional moment across the show's run so far? Humor is up next. Stick around. While it's not a comedy in the purest sense of the word, Stranger Things does feature its fair share of funny moments, with plenty of examples of side-splitting scenes. Sometimes the show's creators use a comical sequence to lighten what is otherwise a pretty tense scene, like the time when Susie is pestering Dustin to sing with her, whilst Dustin and his buddies are in a pretty big pickle. There is no way Dustin wants to sing a duet with Susie at this point, but her lack of awareness of the situation just makes it pretty funny and stops the scene being too heavy. Other funny bits features Will's insistence on the gang playing Dungeons & Dragons, plus pretty much anytime Dustin opens his mouth. We love Dustin. Who is the funniest character on the show in your opinion? Give us your thoughts below. We're discussing group dynamics next. Stay with us. As we know, the show features a ton of exceptional individual characters, and for a cast so young, really should be commended for their casting choices all the way back when. But it's not just how the guys act when they're alone, but how they bounce off each other so magnificently when they're all together. The gang show the emotional strength so often associated with adults, and the characters are often seen in compassionate, loving scenes with one another, while showing examples of immense bravery when it comes to their friends too. And as we mentioned earlier, the gang's dynamics mean there's a ton of funny moments as they regularly make fun of each other, which just goes to show how close they actually are. The close-knit bonds they have formed over the show's run are beautiful to see, and one of the reasons why it's so most successful. And finally, it's Stephen King. Don't go anywhere. Given the huge success of King over the past few decades, any horror-themed American show is always going to draw instant comparison to the world-class storyteller and his back catalog of anecdotes. And there are plenty of bits and pieces relating directly to King throughout the show. From Hawkins itself, which feels like a classic King-style small American town, where so many of his stories are set, Hawkins seems nice and pleasant on the surface, but of course, it harbors a wicked secret. Also, there are King vibes running throughout the monsters, as well as the toughness of the characters, with the writer's style also appearing in the overarching theme of the battle between good and evil. There are loads of King examples running throughout Stranger Things, which just serves to make it that bit spookier. Have you guys noticed any other King references and vibes running through the show? Give us your thoughts below. As usual, thanks for dropping in today, and remember to join us again next time when we'll be discussing all sorts of cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video with any Stranger Things fans you might know. Bye guys!